Hi, this is World Cultures, Unit 6, and today we're going to be talking about South America, the northern coast. And first we're going to take a look at Colombia and Venezuela. The geography here has a lot to do with the Andes Mountains. They start in Venezuela and cross through Colombia, and then goes far south through some countries we'll take a look at later. This higher elevation, like we've seen in Mexico and in Central American countries, creates a cooler climate where most of the people live. Both of these places also have the Llanos, a plateau of plains, grassy plains, where vaqueros drive cattle. There's mining of coal and metals in the mountains, and coffee, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, is a major cash crop. Also grown are a lot of illegal drugs, and this helps fund terrorist mafia groups, cartels, and communist rebel groups in Colombia. One famous communist rebel group is called the FARC, F-A-R-C, and this is the first letter of the words in Spanish of their organization. And they've been fighting a civil war with Colombia for a while. We'll talk more about that here in a second. Venezuela is also blessed with large oil reserves. It's one of the top 10 oil countries in the world, and a lot of this money now goes to the government. The Spanish colonized both countries, creating plantations and mines, until Simon Bolivar, a Venezuelan, started a series of wars for independence that included Colombia. Venezuela went through a long period of military dictatorships until 1958, when it became a democracy. But then in the top right-hand corner, that's in red, Hugo Chavez, and behind him Fidel Castro. Hugo Chavez was elected, and then he changed the constitution so that he became like a communist dictator. He supported Cuba with his oil money. He's very anti-American. He says very nasty things about first George W. Bush and now Obama. But he's recently died, and very recently. So there is a possibility that democracy could return there now that he's gone. Colombia has suffered through a lot of civil wars, about 8 civil wars, 50 revolts. And while it is a democratic republic, it is still fighting a civil war against the aforementioned FARC. There was originally a third group, paramilitaries, people that the military basically had decided to break away and felt like the government wasn't being hard enough on the communists. But they have turned in their guns and actually stand it down, helping to end a lot of violence. And the U.S. helps out a lot with Colombia. This brings us to the Guineas. There are 3 countries, originally known as British Guinea, Dutch Guinea, and French Guinea, to the east of Venezuela and north of Brazil. Suriname and Guyana were both colonized by the British and the Dutch, and then both have a large mix of races foreign to South America. Africans descended from slaves, Indians from India who brought over Hinduism, and they actually make up a majority of the people in Guyana. And you can see them in the top right-hand corner, some Guyanans celebrating the Hindu festival of Holi. Indonesians, that you can see in the middle there, who brought over Islam. They live a lot in Suriname. And then Europeans, there's who brought Christianity. And so while there is a minority of Europeans in both countries, Christianity is still the majority religion. Suriname speaks Dutch, and Guyana speaks English. And then lastly, we have French Guinea. This is still actually a colony of France. They speak French, they are ruled by the French government, and they have a large African population. But they are still a colony. It's the last colony left in South America. There are other cultures in all 5 of these countries, and most of these people live away from the coast. So most of the modern peoples of these countries live along the mountains and the coasts, but they're in the rainforest. You have a small portion of Native Americans that are found there in the jungles, and they have a culture of hunting and gathering for their food, and as you can see, some other what are considered tribal or more primitive ways. This is a small boy who's had some piercings done. their life is a hard one because rainforest doesn't provide a lot of food and it provides a lot of dangers. So they work hard and live the best they can there.